More experienced player performing drills to improve your shot making and positional play. The drill partner is perfect for you.
You gonna start or? I think I think Joey's
Hey,
internet took a
sorry, I'm
dive as
having
soon as we go
connection issues.
live. He's out at on location. Yeah, yeah, we could tell, buddy. You got like one bar, and you're chopping up big time right as the show goes live. It's Wednesday night. This is Dogging It, and
Okay,
Joey is definitely dogging it. Are you there, my man?
I'm here. I'm here. I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm at a hotel. It's free internet, so this is what you get when you pay for free internet, right? But I'm here. We'll see how long my internet holds out. I'm really excited to be here. We've been meaning to do this all week, but
Joey is giving us the remix version. His internet just took a dive again. Joey, maybe try
oh
coming out
gosh.
and then and coming back in. Let's try
All
doing
right,
that. I
copy
swear
that.
his internet was just fine a minute ago as we go live or leading up to the show, doing all the prep, and then now we hit the live button and it's gone. So Joey's out in Las Vegas. We've been trying to get the show for the last few days now, last few nights. But he's working. And anyway, we're here. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff, all the things going on in pool, Predator events going on, women's and the Open event. And boy, does that look like an awesome time out there. On top of that, Federer's match with Copigny, Federer and Jason. Lots of stuff to go and get into. Let's see if Joey is hopping back in or isn't he. Let us know in the chat if you guys can hear us. Let me send this guy out and let me bring in this guy, Joey Ryan.
All right, I think I'm here.
Are you in the room, buddy?
I am here. Can you hear me okay?
Can hear you a lot better now, man. You got 10 out of 10 finally.
Awesome. Well, we're going to roll with this quick then. Just want to take a moment and I want to thank everyone for their support with our new Patreon that we launched last week.
Yep.
Got a little, if you guys want to see the site, if you want to support us, it helps us get to events. It's patreon.com/dogging it. And just the outpouring of support so far. We got 13 people that signed up right from jump.
That's awesome.
I'm going to read off the names here. I'm really excited to have these folks supporting us. It is Patreon names, so sometimes we don't have a last name. I don't even know if it's the right name, but we're going to read them off because we really appreciate them. First, we're going to start off with Brent. Brent came in with some support. Marcus Teufel from Arizona. Jennifer Abbott, thank you. Tom Gorman, Russ Zorn, Matt Poland. A lot of these names are familiar. They check out the show all the time. Patrick Neal, which, by the way, I think Patrick Neal also supported my son's fundraiser to go to Spain to play soccer, which is awesome. Nice. Good friend of the show, Jenny Ann. Everybody loves her. She's in the know in the pool world. Robert Visnek, Matt K, maybe Matt Koopman, I think. Richard Glasscock, that's Rick Glasscock, my buddy from Virginia, lives in Vegas now. Paco, I asked you how you pronounce his last name. You're like, it doesn't matter. Everybody just calls him Paco.
It's just Paco. Nobody knows Paco's last name. It's just Paco.
Yeah. And our buddy from Arizona, Corby Dayhoff. So, guys, thanks so much for coming in with that support on Patreon. It's really going to help us out. We have big plans to really expand things, do some cool things, especially leading into 2023. And that's going to go a long way to get us to some of these events and do some of the cool things.
Well, just got a heads up. We're probably going to be out at Derby City. I'll probably be out at Derby City. Just found out this evening. Got to confirm a few things, but more than likely. Also, we got plans to be at the Mosconi Cup. And I'm not going to, say we're going to be able to do what we're hoping to do, but I'm going to say we're going to be able to do what we're hoping to do. So it's going to be a lot of fun, man. Joey, did you disappear on me? Did you disappear on me again, Joey? Are you there?
I don't know what's going on. I think I'm here. I don't know what's going on.
All right, buddy.
Anyway, well, let's jump into some of these topics here today, Mike. I want to talk to you. I know you had the chance. You were down in South Texas. Had the chance to interview Fedor Gorst. First of all, what a performance. Knocks off Big Co. I think it was 60-42. I mean, these types of performances are just almost unheard of in the pool world. Just a dominating performance coming off of dominating tournament performances. He's on fire right now. For folks that missed the interview, like myself, sorry, give us kind of the summary of your talk with Fedor Gorst and kind of what your take is on how he's playing right now.
It was very on the fly. Fedor had no idea I was going down there. You guys knew because I told everyone that I was more than likely going to be down there, and that's the big reason why I went down, just to get you guys some content. And I thought it was a good time to have Fedor on. He was real open to doing it as soon as he saw me. He's a friend of mine. He's a friend of the show. He's been on here many times. He's a real humble young man. We try to have him on during the international. There was some, emotions running high during that time, not just from his performance, but of course all the drama leading up to and after the last pick for the Mosconi Cup. So it was real cool, man. He said all the right things, and he was very sincere. He's got a chip on his shoulder, which if you have a player with that kind of talent and that kind of execution, and he's inspired, I would not want to be facing that guy in any tournament from here throughout eternity. I'll put it like that. So it was a great interview though, Joe. You ought to check it out. I mean,
Yeah,
I hope you would. Yeah. Yeah.
We are partners. Yeah. I did miss the interview, but what I didn't miss is the online chatter after I guess Jason went on and started talking about Tiger Woods, comparing him to Tiger Woods. And, there was a whole bunch of back and forth about playing a big set, $100,000 set, or maybe a set at Jason's room and a set somewhere else. Give us a rundown on that, Mike. Is that going to happen?
Supposed to. So basically, Federer doesn't want any soft break. He doesn't like to go and argue when he's gambling, and part of that is a 3-point rule. So I mean, you can still hit with finesse, and get balls down table, especially with the template. Jason and Shane did not play with a 3-point rule, so I guess that was the sticking issue. Now to go and compromise, Federer's backer, who we will probably have on the show, and that'll be a lot of fun. And Jason Sword, one of Federer's backers anyway, offered to do a set of each. We'll do your way at your room, no 3-point rule, and then we'll do it our way at our room in right outside of Louisville at Rail Yard. I'm assuming, and we'll put up 50,000 a set, and let's see how irrelevant the kid really is. So I got a message. I think it was Monday morning. I think it was from Jason saying the money was posted, and that wasn't just to go and needle Jason Shaw. That was to go and let you know that it's serious and it's legit. Whether or not Shaw's posted, I haven't heard anything. Like I said, I'm assuming. Well, not I'm assuming. I know we're gonna have able to let you guys know.
Yeah, that's certainly a match a lot of people would want to see. I know for sure. Yeah, so let's get on with, especially since my internet's cutting in and out, let's get on with the action that's happening this week. Seems like there's a ton of pool to watch. I know there's the Medalla Light Puerto Rico Open. Let's start talking about the women's event. I think one of the coolest things that I saw so far was in the match with Savannah Easton and Kelly Fisher. Afterwards, they probably hugged for about 30 seconds. It just seemed to be a really emotional, really cool moment. Did you catch that match, Mike?
I did not get to watch the match. I watched it after the fact. I didn't get to watch it live, but it was pretty awesome. Savannah is, and I know Larry and Tiffany well, and they're friends of the show. I've had Savannah on probably more than I've had you on, Joey, over the last 6 months. So, yeah, she's a fantastic young player. She's a competitor. She's got a lot of heart. It's really interesting, and part of why I love the game is because you can have things like this go and happen where you have a kid who's 13 years old or however old she is, probably younger than that, and she's got a chance at beating the hottest player on earth right now in Kelly Fisher, who's dominated 2022. She had a couple of chances to beat her outright, to take it to a shootout.
Yeah. I think I'm still having problems with my connection. Can you hear me, Mike?
I can hear you, buddy. Can you hear me? I think my
Okay.
my microphone was cutting out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I think the cool thing about this, every once in a while, in any type of sport, there's that young phenom, that person that kind of arrives on the scene. It seems like they're being prepped to really take over. We saw it with, players like Tiger Woods. We see it with LeBron James. And it seems like I remember you and I first talked about
Joey's internet is back at 0.
won anything.
Are you there,
How about
buddy?
now?
Are you there?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Go
Can
ahead.
you hear?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was just saying, it seems like every generation, there's this new talent up and coming, like a LeBron James or Tiger Woods, and they're ready to take over whatever sport it is. And I remember telling you, hey, is this going to be Savannah Easton? And you were telling me, well, she hasn't won anything. Let's not crown her. And that was a year ago. And it just seems like her results are. It seems like she's improving. She's not snapping off these big events, but she's definitely. I mean, she's pushing Kelly Fisher, to a tough match. Seems like she's really starting to come into her own at 12 years old.
Well, she's definitely seasoned. If you follow her on social media, which I do, she's all over the place. They go to every WPBA event, they go to junior event, they go to professional events. Um, she is tough as nails. That little girl is, and she's got a game that's as tough. And it's kind of she used to just be, I think, like for a lot of these women, the cute kid who was out, attending all these pro events, and now she's a competitor.
Yeah.
She can give a lot of these top players problems. I don't think I think from a pride standpoint, some of these ladies may not want to go and lose to uh, uh, a girl that age, but Savannah's game is as tough as anyone. I'm a big fan of hers, big fan of her parents for what all they do for her. And I'll still stand by what I said. I don't want to put too much pressure on her as far as like what she'll be able to do, but I'm enjoying the ride, watching her take steps in her career, even at this point. You know, she's a very aware young woman. And actually, so we were supposed to have this juniors thing. You never got invited, like a lot of our shows, but we were gonna have this juniors thing, and I'm still gonna do it. It's just been hectic the last couple of months. But Savannah actually was gonna be one of my co-hosts for it.
Is that right?
She's yeah. She was
So
gonna
I got
take Joey Ryan's
replaced.
spot.
Got
Uh,
replaced.
I mean, you can come on occasionally,
See.
but her, she's always got a seat out here on Doggin It. Um, you could tell she got a little emotional after that match, and rightfully so. But it was fantastic, man. And that's part of what the Predator Pro Billiard Series like can do. You can really have these underdogs, so to speak, uh, go and strike some Cinderella, if you will. These races to four shootouts, it can really put pressure on players, no matter their caliber on paper, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So I just connected to a different Wi-Fi here. We're trying everything we can. Sorry, guys. I'm on the 12th floor of the Mirage in Las Vegas right now as we're doing this. Can you hear me okay, Mike?
Yeah, buddy, I can hear you.
Okay. So yeah, a lot of good talent turned out for the women's event. Looking down through the list, obviously we talked about Kelly Fisher. We got Christina Takacha's in this. Quite a few Asian players. The Taiwanese are there.
Right.
Pia Filler has advanced to the third round. Um, yeah, Allison Fisher is through to the third round. Cheska's there. She's through to the third round. Fefalova's through to the third round. Um, Tons of good talent there, Mike. Who do you think's going to take this event?
Uh, I'm gonna go with that's a tough question. I'm gonna go with either Filipino or Taiwanese. So either way, or I would say maybe like a Chesko or Rublin. Would be my guess. Um, it's Okay. Joey's gonna have to refresh here. Yeah, but there's a lot of girls who can go and win. Obviously, Allison and Kelly, who've had a lot of experience in this format. There's a lot of tough European players, like Margaret, like Christina, who can certainly handle their own and are just getting tougher and tougher and tougher. Um, this format, like Federer's in the chat, he's saying it's pressure. It's all about how you can go and put it together, right? How you can go and handle that one game, because even game one going to four is a lot of pressure. Game, seven going to four is a lot of pressure. So uh, it's it's gambling to an extent, but I think the cream will rise a little bit more to the top here.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. By the way, not just Savannah Easton, but another young player, Skylar Hess, is through on the loser side of the third round. She's going to play Janet Atwell. That should be a good match. So it's kind of neat following the progress of these younger players out
I
there.
love
And,
that they're
and
there and they're not just playing the junior event, that they're there playing, with the big
oh
girls.
yeah, stepping up, right? And this is a debate, Mike. I'd love to get your take on this because there's been a discussion about. I don't know if you saw the post by John Barton. But he recently did a post at his place where he's going to eliminate the capped tournaments. He's still going to have handicap tournaments, but no more capping and excluding players from events. And that's a huge talking point out here in Arizona where, you have people who just don't want to play against a 650 or a 700 or especially like a 730 or 750 and they won't even show up, even if it is handicapped. And, here we see these young players, 12 years old, 14 years old, 16 years old, stepping up and playing against some of the best women in the world. I'm curious to get
Right.
your take on that. I always had the opinion that, well, first of all, I came up in a time where, when you went out to play, you knew there were tournaments you just weren't going to win
Right.
and you knew that you were gaining experience and so you were just trying to cash and make your money back or just get that experience on the table and it's
Right.
like that type of mentality is gone now. A lot of people look at pool tournaments as their opportunity to make money. They don't want to donate. If you ask them, it's donating to play against a lot better players. They don't want to grind it out. Curious to hear your thoughts on that post by John and what you think about the cap tournaments.
I guess it just depends on who you are and what you're looking to get out of the game, right? So if you're one of these junior players and hopefully they got goals outside of pool, to go and have, an education. But if they want to compete with the best players, then they need to go and compete with the best players. And that doesn't mean the best players in their age group. You see that kid Rico, who's, traveling to all these events, and I think his dad works for Predator as well. So that helps, but he's staying in it, right? You see Moritz go almost beat Shaw in the World Championships. I think it was like 2 years ago. These young European players who are just, they're up against monsters, but they're gaining tons of experience, right? And that just makes them tougher and stronger. Like Savannah Easton, for example, like Adrian Prasad, who's going out to all these events and playing, not just the 16 and under American player. And no disrespect to the people who only do, but it's only going to make you as good as, the toughest player in that field, I feel like, right?
Yeah.
Um, Oscar had a good post about that recently. But if I'm an amateur player and if I'm on a budget and I want to get the most bang for my buck, yeah, do I want to get it in as best as possible? Sure. But if I just want to play pool, for me, if I'm going out, I got a guy who I'll play here regularly, and he plays a lot better than me. But I'll go and I'll get my what whoop for a few hours because I love the experience of it. I love to go and compete.
What's he like, a
I don't.
400 Fargo?
Yeah, 430ish, 430ish. uh, but like I like that mentality. I'm a little bit like old school when it comes to that, right? I had the tough coach kind of mentality. He's kind of like that for me in a
Yeah, I
mental
mean,
aspect.
that's how I cut my teeth. That's how I got better. But the counter
Yeah,
argument to that is the 45-year-old guy who's just like, or gal who's just like, I don't have aspirations to be a pro pool player,
that's what I
and
meant though from the
but I
beginning.
do want to compete and I do want to cash. And so one thing I pointed out back in Arizona a while back was we had the same group of players, like they're capping tournaments, so it's 625 and under or whatever. But then we have the same like 5 people that are cashing all the time. And I'm like, you cap all these tournaments in the interest of fairness, right? To keep players like myself, Nick DeLeon, Brad Hughes, real good players in Arizona, keep them out of it. And then at the same time, the same like 615 players are winning the 625 and unders all the time. And so it's almost like, where do you draw the line? It's hard to.
Yeah, I mean, and then you go into, you know, then they'll start like segregating based off of where you got your rating from, your robustness, all these Fargo, debates, and um, I don't know, man. I think there's definitely a place for him. You know, Fargo Rate is a sponsor of the show, by the way.
Yeah.
So, but as Greg Hogue remembers all too well.
I
No,
like
but
Dr. Wu's comment about the tiered entry fees.
I
Because
like that too.
the way I always looked at it when I competed on the Planet Pool Tour, we'd go out and you'd pay $65 to get in an event, and you felt pretty good when just the regular pros from the DC area showed up, and you were like, "Hey, I got a chance to go a little deep in this." The Brandon Schuffs, the Mike Davis, they're still great players, but they weren't like top tier. And then all of a sudden, like one tournament, Earl Strickland shows up, some Filipinos show up, because it's right before the U.S. Open or something. You're like,
Right.
oh man, this field is just ridiculous. But then you're like, man, I'm gonna have a chance to play one of these guys. That's super cool. So yeah, I think it's kind of interesting debate, and I don't even know how we got on this. It's not on my list of things to talk about.
I love playing one pocket, and it's no secret, right? And I love when you have these monster fields, but they're at a reasonable price where I can get a shot to go play the Dennises or Alexes of the world for a reasonable price, right? And I'm talking, I know I don't stand a chance against them, but you're using it as a way to get experience, right? But again, it just depends on what you're looking to get out of the game. I feel like, but if I'm one of these kids who are aspiring to be top level pool players, whether domestic or on a world stage, you got to go out there and play with the big boys, or in this case the big girls. And look at Savannah. I mean, she's doing great things. I saw her. She was out there in Michigan, Vegas. I mean, you name it, every Canada, all over the place, man. So
Yeah.
and it's obviously paying off. I was there watching a match with her and Jasmine. I think it was in Michigan, and I think Jasmine won pretty comfortably. But it's pretty cool to see that a couple of months ago, and then now see her against Kelly have a chance to take her to a shootout. And oh, by the way, that was on the TV table. So everybody's watching. You got commentators. It's
Got
shared
the
on their
heat
YouTube
on.
and
Yeah.
Facebook. Everybody, and she still thrived. I mean, she came up a little bit short, but it's cool. This is you see players that are well above her age still take steps in their career like she's taken now at such a young age. It's going to pay dividends down the road, 1,000%.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's go through the men's event a little bit. Actually, the open event, I guess. I'm looking at the brackets now. Fedor's advanced through to the third round, knocked off
Federer
Alex.
almost lost to Calderon. Calderon took his ass to
You can't sleep on
a
Calderon.
shootout.
You can't sleep on that guy, man. That guy's a grinder.
That's the epitome of a grinder. Yeah.
Totally. And it looks like he's advanced to play Hasia from Taiwan. Looks like Alain Roland has advanced, so he's a Puerto Rican player, and he's advanced through the first two rounds. He beat Wu Kun Lin in the first round. That's a nice victory, and he's going to play
Wu Kun Lin won. I think it was the
Las Vegas
event. Yeah.
So he's going to advance to play Bader. Bader knocked off Mickey Kraus. FSR is through to the third round. He'll be playing Alex Pagulayan. Pagulayan defeats Babica. As you're going through these names, you're seeing there's not a whole lot of Americans here. Hardly any at all. We'll talk about that in 1 second. Maciel advances over Josh Filler, so a little bit of an upset there. Filler goes to the loser side. Darren Appleton advances over Chang Jung Lin.
Big win.
Very nice win there. Jonas Suto, he advances over Alex Kazakas. I picked up a piece of that, saw it in a shootout. He won the shootout there. He's going to face Alexa in the next round, who knocked off Tyler Steyer. Good win there. Robbie Capito is through, beat Tony Robles, and he advances to play John Mora. John Mora's won 2 rounds. He's into the third round. Let's see. Besser and Jesus Atencio are going to be playing in the third round. And Omar Al-Shaheen against Petri from Finland. Petri knocked off Roberto Gomez. Let's see. Mika's through to the third round. I tell you what, Mika's about due to snap off one of these. I
relax,
think
Collins. Relax.
I'm telling you.
Relax.
I think this format's starting to favor him.
The format's favoring a lot of guys who can play well, shockingly enough. And a lot of these guys who you're mentioning, both that are winning and losing, can play pretty well. It's a lot more gambling than people say. And this is, I mean, I asked Federer about this whenever we were whenever we were talking the other day. And I think that's part of what makes his accomplishments in these events so remarkable is the fact that
Yeah.
he's had these successes with consistency. But then you got guys like Josh, who, if I had a Calcutta going, he probably would have been first pick, maybe second or third. Chang probably would have been in that 1, 2, and 3 range as well, along with Federer. And both of them lose to, listen, Chang, a race to 9, you're spotting Darren probably 2 to 3 games.
Yep.
But in a race to 4 shootout on Predator tables in Puerto Rico, it's gambling. I mean, you money line it, and he got there just like Martial got there against Filler. This is part of what these events can go and do is make for Cinderella's, kind of like NCAA style, if you will. But
so
yeah,
funny enough, the criticism is the race is to 4. Anybody can win, but anybody's not winning at the end of it, right? At the end of the event, it's top class players like Fedor Gorst, it's Mario He, it's Aloysius Yap, it's the top.
Yap's on the 1-loss side. Mario just survived a shootout just a few minutes ago. I was watching it. I was watching that a little bit ago. You can have the cream rise to the top. Listen, you had Demetrios Lukatos, whatever his name is, from Greece. No disrespect to him, but he's won one of these events. Kazakis has won one.
I just sit here and scratch off potential guests on our show as you butcher their names. And
yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you were to go and have like a list of players, look, I'm going to give you this example, and this is probably not going to go and sit well with a lot of people, but back at that Sandcastle event, when you had that list of players, Greg Hogue probably would have been towards the bottom of that list. Things can go on and happen if you hit the right stride and everything kind of comes together perfectly. Now, when you go and have races to 4 on tables that these players aren't playing on, with any kind of, at least a lot of those guys aren't playing consistently. Filler, for example, Chang, for example, Cole loses in the first round to Dennis Grabe, which Dennis is a great player, but no one will put Dennis and Cole kind of on that same level right now.
Yeah.
This format just lends itself to have crazy things, to go and happen. And this is why you want to tune in and watch.
Yeah. So going down the list here, I just jinxed Mika Immonen. He plays Wojciech. It's going to be a tough match there. I'll probably lose that since I said he's going to win the tournament. Yoshioka and Joey Tate. Joey Tate's through to round 3 there. That's a good result so far.
What the heck is MySpace? It's my man.
Sullivan Clark from New Zealand. He's on to the 3rd round against Naoki Oi. Sullivan's
he had an upset.
Mario He. Knocked off Mario He. And then let's see. Sanjin is through against Dennis Grabe. Pius and Snagaki will be playing in the 3rd round. Let's see. Chua. New QTech announcement for Johan Chua. I don't know if you caught that one, Mike. Now a QTech player, and he's going to be facing Kachi.
I found out a couple days before. I don't know about you. I found out a couple days before. But
yeah, you always find out before.
I know a lot of people, buddy.
But Chua knocks off Victor Zelinsky, who's red hot, as we know. He just finished 2nd place. Yeah, well, he just finished in 2nd place in that tournament. Where was that tournament, Mike? Florida?
Zelinsky? Yeah, Rex at Pedro's place.
Yeah. I mean, sooner or later, he's going to win one. Although he has won one of these. He won one of these in Vegas, right? But sooner or later, he's going to break through with a big title. But maybe it's going to be the World 8-Ball. Who knows? Kachi's through to the 3rd round. Victor? Yeah.
Oh, I like him in a lot of events. I don't care what it is. That kid plays great. And
he does.
He's another one who's just headstrong. He's goofy on the table, but he can just put him in and get position. He's a great player.
Yeah, he is. I was just commenting that, he finishes 2nd, in the international, then he finishes 2nd the next week down in Florida, and he even made a post about it, like second again.
Yeah, 2nd in the 14.1 to Youngo too, right before the international. Kid's on fire right now. His stock is just skyrocketing, man. Kind of like a Sanjin, but I think having more success than Sanjin. Great player. I'm a big fan of Victor's game.
You think there's something going on when he gets to the final, some mental block, or you think it's just one of these things where he just needs to break through with one of these?
I don't think so. I mean, it's some guys, like I'll compare it to like a Roland Garcia. They call him Mr. Bridesmaid or Mr. Runner Up, right? Roland can kind of get a little hitch in his giddy up, towards the end of a tournament. He's good enough to get to a final, but when the pressure's really on, he can tighten up a little bit, and goofy things kind of happen, but it's like far too consistently that goofy things go and happen. With Victor, I don't see that. I mean, I saw him give Jason all that he could handle. I saw Jason just punch him right in the mouth in a really clutch spot in that final and just take that title from him. But the kid had just dominated Federer the round before, and that could have easily been a final just as well. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's
I know we
to
interviewed
win one of these events, in general.
Yeah, we interview the kid in Vegas. We ask him how to pronounce his name. He says in Polish the W is like a V, so it's Victor, and you still can continue to call him Victor. I don't know. It's just like
Insultingly.
it puts
No,
me
I'm
on
kidding.
tilt.
It's with all due
Puts me on
respect.
tilt.
How do you
Carlo
who's the guy you always say his name oddly that puts me on tilt?
Jeremy Sasse.
That's the one. That's the one. Yeah.
I've been known to do a few of those. Like when I used to
Yeah.
call, what did I used to call Evan Lunda?
Oh god. Yeah. Let's change the subject, buddy.
All
On to
right,
the next one.
On to the next one. Through to the third round is Carlo Beato. He's going to face Ralph Souquet. Classy matchup there. Jani Uski is through from Finland to the third round. He'll play Ko Pin Chung. So all those names I read off, I just went through the winners bracket. You can see it's a really talented field, but you can also see there's not many Americans at all in there. So what's your take on that, Mike? Is it the format? Is it because Puerto Rico's a little tougher to get to? Is it because of the proximity to the Mosconi Cup? What do you think?
No, I mean Puerto Rico's not tough to get to. You don't need a passport to get there. You can, it's a U.S. territory. Weather's great. The arena looks fantastic.
Yeah, it does, right?
Yeah, it really does. Whether or not Americans want to go and travel playing a race the 4, I don't know. Obviously the Mosconi Cup has something.
2 races to 4.
2 races to 4. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people aren't fans of the format, but they're there. Like Josh hasn't played, I don't think, a Predator event since Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. Even whenever he's around, because I know he didn't go to Michigan or Ohio, and he had been in the States. I guess it's more a matter of preference for a lot of these guys, and you'd have to go and ask them directly. I know from talking to a few of them what they'll go and say. But I don't know, man. Puerto Rico in November versus being in like the Midwest and freezing your ass off. It's cold. It's not a lot of debate, buddy.
Hey, it's I've been under the weather for a couple months now, just trying to recover from this thing I got going on. And I'm out here in Vegas, and it's freezing out here. It's super cold. And we're having this like little corporate event at the ice bar. And I'm like, that is the last place I want to be. It's going to be like, you got to wear parkas and stuff in there. They'll serve you your drinks in ice, like a glass of ice, like the glass is made of ice. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not feeling that tonight. So I was like, let me go live with Melina Mike instead. But yeah, so this event, it's going to, it's still a lot of pool to watch. You can watch it on Billiard TV. You can check out each of the matches. It's a free stream.
Kazoom's got it, man. Kazoom is partnered up with Predator with this event. This is what I love. This is the best part of the whole thing, because it doesn't matter where you are, what part of the world you're in, no matter what player you want to go and follow, you can watch every single one of their matches from beginning to end, whether they're on the TV table or they're not. Kazoom is by far the best value for the money. And if you go and throw 100 at them, you'll get every Euro Tour, every table, live scoring, whatever, the works. I mean, it's so amazing. I love that they partner together. You can really follow the flow along with Predator's great social media team. You can follow the flow of the event pretty well. I wish there was more talking about how the matches went down afterwards, because you can go and scoreboard watch, or you can catch a clip here or there, but it's hard when there's so many matches like you just read off to really get a feel of like who's playing better per se, if that makes sense, because it's deep, man.
Yeah. So I just want to point out there's a few folks in the chat. I saw Matt Poland, saw Paco, folks that are supporting us on Patreon. We read out your names in the beginning, guys. I don't know if you're here then. Read out everyone that's supporting us on Patreon. We want to thank you.
Much appreciated.
if you really get behind what we're doing, if you're excited about what we're doing, you want to help us get to more events and do things like that, please consider supporting us on Patreon. It's the address is there at the bottom, patreon.com/Doggin It. So Mike, we're about to embark on the World 8-Ball. What do you know about that event?
I think it's been like 10-ish years since it's been in existence. 8-Ball is the most played game on earth. I'm beyond happy to see its resurrection. I love seeing pros play 8-Ball because it's kind of similar to One Pocket in the sense of like you got to piece a lot of puzzles together. You got to handle problems. There's a lot of blinking and seeing how aggressive they want to be, when they want to be aggressive, how they want to go and attack problems. But especially played on a 9-foot table. I'm really excited to see this, and not just that, but you saw that list of players. All those players that are pros, I'd imagine, are going to be on there playing that event as well. So it's going to be so deep. Every match is going to be great, and plus, there's no way to really handicap it because you don't know how to go and besides who's a quote unquote better player on paper, you don't know who can snap it off. Darren is probably one of the best 8-Ball players on earth, and he hasn't had the last few months haven't been so well for him, but he's coming off a big win. So he's obviously comfortable. Who knows, man? He could have another world championship run in.
I'm looking at guys like that. I'm looking at the OGs. I'm looking at the Thorsten Holmans, the Ralphs, the folks that have been around the block, because these younger players, I don't think they play a lot of 8-Ball. And as you know, Mike, I mean, if you're playing a lot of rotation pool and then you go right to playing 8-Ball, it's almost like you need to work on that for a little bit. You need to get an 8-Ball stroke, 8-Ball gear, 8-Ball thought patterns, which are completely different from rotation patterns. Right. And I think the thing that's the most beautiful about 8-Ball is you can really use your creativity, and you'll see players at the same caliber attack tables completely different in 8-Ball.
Yeah.
You'll see some that'll bump balls and go into clusters. You'll see some that'll maneuver around the back of it and shoot balls up table. And it's just really awesome because I think it's like a view inside the pool player's head. You get that in One Pocket sometimes, but there's so much defensive moving of the balls that in 8-Ball, I think you really get to see the way these guys think and these patterns. I think folks are really going to enjoy this tournament. I'm super excited for it. In fact, I was waiting for my invitation. I didn't get my invitation to it. I don't know if you know this. 8-Ball is my best game. If I would have got my invitation,
who doesn't know that is what I want to know. I mean, who doesn't know 8-Ball is your best game? I mean, I know that, obviously.
You've seen me play some 8-Ball, haven't you? Are you messing with me?
What are you talking about, Joey? I didn't even know you can count up to 15 balls. What are you talking about?
Get out of here.
I don't even know, man. No, listen, if it's breaking Gaffy, right? And Predator tables, that triangle rack, and if it's a little, there's no rhyme or reason because you've seen pros struggle with breaking 8-Ball. Yeah. So it's really going to be the Wild West. I feel like it's going to be a lot more gambling. I think it'll be similar to like watching Youngo win the 14.1, where like a dark horse or an unknown may be able to snap this thing off. Yeah, I definitely do. Plus, I want to know how they're playing it. Like if they're playing, because personally, when I watch pros play ball, I like playing the take what you make. Now that goes and changes the game.
Yeah, we don't know that yet, do we?
I'd imagine they're just playing BCA, just
BCA,
open after the break. But I like take what you make better, personally.
The thing about watching pros play 8-Ball, even compared to top amateurs, like if you go out to some of the tournaments in Vegas and you see some of the best like amateur players like Brian Parks and Jeff Sargent, guys like that can really play incredible bar box 8-Ball or even big table. There's this thought process that comes in after the break, like, can I get there or not? And there's a decision that comes in, and it's like, is it go time or am I going to be defensive in this rack? With the pros, you find that it's almost never defensive. Like they'll play defensive shots, but they're going to get aggressive and they're going to go for most outs up until the point they realize they can't get out, just because they can do so much with the cue ball. They can maneuver the ball so well. They can break out clusters. Their knowledge is superior, but they play an aggressive style of 8-Ball usually when you get a chance to watch them play. So that's what I'm excited for. We're going to see them tackle some tables that maybe a very good player would probably say, not going to get out here. Let's find some way to reposition some balls. They're probably not going to do that. They're going to go for a run out, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Well, I love seeing them work their way backwards, right? Or like how they want to go and attack problems at what point in the rack, you
Yeah.
know? And this could really, I think this above like all these 9-ball and 10-ball wars, so to speak, that's going on. I think this will probably be the one that has the most eyes on it personally, just because, like I said, 8-ball is a game you grew up on playing in your garage or playing at the, bar whenever you were 21 or whatever, like that was the first game you got introduced playing when you're growing up for a lot of people, especially Americans. I'm really looking forward to this event. I love another world championship. I love the way that they're doing it, Predator and along with Kazum and that whole team they got out there. I think it's going to make for a fantastic few days. Plus, like the specialty of being crowned a world champion, and it shows, it's reflected by the field. These players are taking it seriously. Like when I talked to Federer, he was super pumped about playing for a world title, so that just shows it's not an afterthought. It's not an afterthought for these guys. They're taking it serious, and there's prestige to it.
Absolutely. Well, if you look at the talent that's out there now in the competition, it's really hard to win a world title. Look how long it took Shane to win a world title. He finally got his world title. By the way, there's some folks in the chat. I think Mike Check brings up an interesting point. Mora wins a lot of 8-ball events. Might be a surprise. Mora's a heck of a player.
You can't say that though. You can't say that so-and-so is great at 8-ball when they're playing bar box. You just can't, because they're playing on 9-foot tables. It's like saying if Jesse Bowman were to go out there and play, he would have a great chance. Would Jesse Bowman have a great chance on a Valley against Dennis? Yeah, for sure. Would he have the same success rate against Dennis, let's say on a 9-foot Predator table in Puerto Rico? I don't think so. I'd be willing to go and gamble.
Well, he'd have a better chance playing 8-ball than rotation.
Yeah, for sure. But but the comparison is from the bar table to the 9-footer is my point.
Nick De Leon says he doesn't think there'll be that many clusters like on a bar table. No, I agree with that. However, it'd be interesting because, they are in Puerto Rico, a lot more humidity, a lot more balls on the table. And so there's a good possibility that you'll get some balls kind of tied up, gummed up in there to be kind of interesting. A couple other folks. Mora won the inaugural NBL event at Ladawi.
Oh, that was against Corey in the finals, if I'm not mistaken. That was a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I think I saw that final. Yeah.
Yeah. De Leon saying that there were so many break and runs the last time they had this event. Well, yeah, we're going to see a lot of that. No doubt about it. It's going to be fun to watch.
But it's no one's played 8-ball on a Predator table. Nobody.
Does it have 6 pockets?
Yeah.
Then they're going to run out. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
But can they break? That's the thing. Can they break the balls? You're seeing big breakers like Federer breaking from the side. You're seeing some of the best breakers in the world break 10-ball from the side. Copigny, Federer, Filler, all these quote-unquote, guys with big breaks are breaking from the side. That's playing 10-ball. So they're going to be trying to figure it out when it comes to 8-ball.
They're going to be hitting the head ball for sure in 8-ball. Matt Poland says they're in Puerto Rico. Surprised they're not playing last pocket with the mud cue balls. That's a great comment. But you know what?
Always a twist.
That's, he's saying that we know there's great 8-ball players in Puerto Rico. Could this be an event where someone from Puerto Rico, gets into the event and ends up surprising some people? It'd be interesting. Someone off the radar. Sure. Someone off the radar. So there's also the World Juniors, Mike. What do you know about that? Are they going to get a good turnout for that event?
Yeah, I think it's going to be full. There's a lot of Americans that are going. Players from all over the world are going, obviously, because it's a World Juniors event. Predators jumping on board and supporting these kids and making them a part of everything that's going on out there, which I love. It's a lot to keep track of. Storylines in tournaments are part of what makes it great. But like when you have a women's and a men's event going on, you can have little things kind of get lost throughout the whole thing because there's so much going on. I kind of wish that maybe, some of these events had their own time, if that makes sense, like their own stage. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. There's a lot of great young players here domestically, and I'm looking forward to see how they compete with the best from all over the world.
Yeah, me as well. Hey, I want to take a minute and just thank Harm Time supporting us now on Patreon. Thanks so much for that. We really appreciate that. Guys, if you want to support, the address is down the bottom, patreon.com/Doggin It. Mike, one thing I really want to talk to you about is this crazy performance by Justin Bergman. uh, Apparently, he was spotting, I don't know, like a 660 or 670 player, 25 games going to 50. And so just hearing those stats, right? If I'd take 25 games from pretty much anyone going to 50 and think that I had a good chance, right?
I'm sure that
And
guy
then
thought he had a good chance too.
And then if the final score ends up 50-28, I might be ready to throw my cues into a river. But I saw a post from the guy and he's just like, what do you do? And there was posts about Justin putting a 20 pack together. I think that was later changed to a 18 or a 19 pack. I know it was bar table 9-ball, but my goodness, how impressive is that to be able to put 18 racks together on a bar table? I've done about 7, 8 myself, maybe 9 on, like a Valley, easy pockets, but 18, that's just insane.
Justin Bergman, what can you say, right? He's the timing of it is pretty poetic. I feel like, people kind of barking about him should have been on the Mosconi Cup and should be every year, especially if you invite Earl after not playing for a whole year. And then quietly he's in St. Louis and then just happens to put an 18. Now I know you're going to have critics and naysayers and guys who want to knock it by it's a template, it's soft break-in, it's on a bar table. Ask the best players in the world how tough that is. They'll tell you. Sure, it's one thing to go and put, 4 or 5, maybe 6, right? Or unless you're Joey Ryan and you're putting, 7 or 8. I want to see that video, by the way.
You don't believe it?
Negative.
Bro.
But from what I heard, Justin's coming back. Justin's going to be coming back next year. And I heard it from a very reliable source. I was trying to get like the permission to go and post about it, but I was kind of like a little bit of a gray area. But he's coming back next year from what I understand. Not just to make a Mosconi Cup run, but to make a run in competitive pool.
Let's do it.
Everybody knows what kind of player that he is, how dynamic he is, what kind of talent that he is. Even I think it was Greg Hoke saying it, I think on some post, I can't remember where, but it was talking about the break shot being more of a shot versus a break. And that's right in his wheelhouse because Justin is a phenomenal player. He's got one of the best cue balls on earth, and you can ask anyone. Go ask Federer what he thinks about Justin Bergman's game, and he'll tell you his honest opinion.
Best cue ball. Absolutely. And you know what? Even with an 18 pack and, Matt Poland brings up some good points, soft breaking, magic rack, little table, all of that. Even with that, somebody puts an 18 pack on you, but you're still a 660, whatever the kid was, 680. I don't know what he was. But at that point, to only get 3 games going to 50, you're getting 25 games and you end up getting to 28. I mean, to me, that's just nuts. That just shows how dominant Justin was. Even when the kid got his chances, if he didn't capitalize on them, he's getting, right back in his chair, and Justin was just cruising with it. What a performance. I'm excited for him to come back. I hope you're right about that, Mike. I hope you're not just like, teasing us or toying with us. I want to see him back.
I know a few people.
I want to see him as a Mosconi Cup fixture every single year. That changes a lot of things. If he's on the Mosconi team for the U.S. every year, that gives us, I believe, a much better chance of competing with Europe. Obviously, Europe's still going to be the favorite, but, I mean, Justin's just Justin, right? So if he's on that team, him, Shane, Sky right there, that's the nucleus of that team, and I think we got a much better chance.
I think a lot of people would agree with you, and no one's ever knocked Justin because of his game. It's whether or not he's playing or he's willing to go and play, right? So you can never take away what he's able to do. A lot of people respect him. A lot of Europeans respect him. The reason why he got on the last Mosconi Cup was because of the run that he had in like the one tournament he played in, which was the International Open that year, right before the Mosconi Cup. He pretty much played his way through that tournament in order to make it on that team that year. So he's a phenomenal player. I'm not gonna I'm not saying it because of the 18 pack on the bar table. I'm saying it. He was a great player even without it. And I think it was me and you the other day whenever we brought up Justin's name. I couldn't argue about his game then. I'm not gonna argue about it now. You know.
Yeah.
He's
So
just
when you say he's
fantastic.
going to be playing again, are you talking about playing in the Matchroom points events? Or are
Yeah,
you just
that's
talking
what I
about
heard.
getting out more? Really? So
No,
traveling,
yeah,
that kind of stuff?
that's what I hear. That's what I hear.
Love it.
Yeah,
I love
that's what I
it.
hear. Yeah.
That's going to be awesome. That'd be great to see. What else is on your mind, Melina? Anything?
Now let's take some questions from the chat maybe and see what everybody else is talking about in the poll world.
Oh,
There's
look
just a
at
lot of
Dr.
stuff going on.
Will. You
Oh,
see that chat? Look at Dr. Will. This
we
guy
talked
knows what he's
about
talking about.
Joey Ryan from Moscone Captain. Yeah, maybe. What is that Arizona event you got going on? Why don't you try being the captain of that event first, and then
Oh,
we'll
gosh.
see if you're USA material. Speaking of the
Jeez.
Moscone Cup, though, there's a pretty good chance that we may go and be out. Well, I think we're going to be out there regardless,
We're
whether or
going.
not we're going. Whether or not we'll be able to do what we want to do is still up in the air, at least on site. Either way, we're going to do it. So we got a plan A and a plan B, and I'm just going to put it out there. We got an email back today. They're just confirming that we're going to be going out there. And I think me and Joey, there's a pretty good shot that we're going to be set up on site, doing player interviews, some pregame and postgame stuff. I think they even have an intermission, so maybe we can do something then too. But if we are able to be set up out there, which I'm hoping we will, looks like we will, we're going to get everybody. I mean everybody. And we're going to be talking a lot of smack from both sides. I'm pumped for this one, Joe. I've never been to Moscone Cup.
Me either.
I'm really looking forward to it, man. I'm not gonna lie. I
Yeah,
don't really get excited about events like this anymore, but this one I am.
Yeah, and we have some ideas. Not sure what we're going to be able to do yet, but if you think about it, when you watch the coverage, I mean, the coverage is great, but there's that whole morning before the event or evening after the event that you're still got that buzz about you, where you're still excited about pool and you can't wait for the next day or you can't wait to talk to somebody about that day. And so we want to be there for you and kind of get you guys fired up and, talk to other people, talk to some pros that are out there, maybe watching the event, talk to some fans, kind of get the fan reaction,
Everybody.
coming in, anything like that, to kind of generate some buzz, generate some excitement. I think it would be super cool, just little things walking in. Hey, who you got? What's the score? Whatever. Who's the MVP? Just see what people think, kind of poll the audience. I don't know. I'm curious to know out of everybody listening right now. We got about 80 people across the platform listening live. Thank you guys so much. One, who's going to be out there? And two, I want to know your prediction on score for Moscone Cup. Let's see what you guys come up with here.
Someone was
And don't
asking
get
about
quiet on me
the
now. You've been
Derby.
chatting the whole time. Don't get quiet on me.
Someone was asking about Derby. We're probably going to be going to the Derby, or at least I'll probably be going to the Derby. Hopefully I can convince Joey to come out there. But a buddy of mine from I don't want to put his name out there yet, but there's a pretty good chance that we're going to be out there. Plus, Greg Sullivan owes me dinner, so if for nothing else, I'll be going out there for that because I got to hang out with Greg out there at Hard Times when he went out there for the One Pocket event. Great guy. I'd go for nothing else to hang out with him, man. He's a great dude with a lot of history.
That's awesome. Hey, Raymond Linares is going to be there 11-8 USA. I love it. Let's see. Mike Check 11-5. I think is that USA? I wonder, or Europe. Tiny's got Europe by a large margin, larger than they can possibly get. Oh, shoot. I just missed one. Hold on. It's coming in hot and heavy right now. It's coming in hot and heavy.
saying 11-6 Europe. 11-6. Hey, I asked Federer when he interviewed him what the score was going to be. How about you guess his score, buddy?
Oh, shoot. Federer probably said 11-8.
Who?
Europe.
Well, he did pick Europe, but no, he said 11-3. 11-3. 11-3.
What does he think? He's on the team?
Yeah. I tell you what, every American fan there is going to let him know that Federer should have been on that team. I can tell you that.
Mike, here's my favorite comment right here. I'm going with James Brinson. This is the comment of the day. Can you imagine in Las Vegas if it ends 11-10 USA? that place is gonna be insane. Insane. Can you imagine that?
You talk about pressure. Who would you put in? Who would you put in on either team? If it's Hill, I think it might be captain's pick if I'm not mistaken.
Pace game.
Who are you picking for the European side first?
Jason.
Over Josh. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jason.
Over Josh.
Yeah.
Mr. Two-time MVP.
Just a little more seasoning, just a little more. I think loves that atmosphere, loves that pressure, loves that environment. I'll go with Jason for Europe if I have the choice for the case game. And for the U.S., I'm going with Earl.
What? You can't be serious. Earl?
I'm serious. Yeah, I'm serious. I'm serious.
You're sitting Sky, the two-time MVP on the sideline. You're sitting Shane, who's won the final game for us before.
Yeah.
No Tyler, no Oscar. You're sending in Earl.
Yeah. I'm gonna do Earl. Look, hey, he's won everything. He's won everything.
And now you know why Joey Ryan will never be the USA captain.
Was that my audition? I failed. Failed miserably. Epically. I'm going with Earl. Look, okay, not so much
some great TV though, buddy. I mean,
exactly. And think about it. He would be the hero of all heroes if he wins that for the U.S. in the case game? Earl Strickland, his last hurrah. You can't make a movie about that. I mean, or you could make a movie about that. That would be unreal. I'd say we do it. Who would you put? I want to hear who your picks are. And by the way, you got like a mosquito flying around there. I hope you don't get malaria.
I know. Oh God, you're Mr. Dramatic.
They don't know you do this out in your shed.
I'm probably just going Josh. The kid's just cold-blooded. And he's been in a lot. Of course. Well, who else? There's no other Josh on the team. I know I'm not going David and I'm not going Francisco.
No.
And it for me is between
great players,
great players. But I mean, for the Mosconi Cup at Hill, I'm going with the guy who's been in a lot of finals and been in pressure-packed moments.
Earl Strickland.
No. There's no way in hell. Earl would probably be my like fourth or fifth pick.
Get out of here, Mike. That's ridiculous.
What leads you to believe that he would do great? Like right now, I can see if he wins all his games out there in Vegas, then it's different. But what today?
Look, if he's not in your top three, you're crazy. And that's no disrespect to Oscar, Tyler. They're great players. I love them. But if you're talking about the absolute case game, he's in my top three for sure.
What is saying that? Is it because of his resume? Is that what it is?
Pedigree. Yeah, pedigree. I mean, not recently, but look back over time. The guy's just an animal.
See, I'm with Raymond. Sky. Give me Sky. Sky would be the one because Sky can also be cold-blooded.
He's my second choice.
And Filler does not get in his head at all.
He's my second choice. And you know what?
He's clutch.
People say, well, why are you not including Shane? And I love Shane's game in singles. And I love Shane's game when he's not on a team. And hopefully this year that changes. And this year he just comes out and leads this team and plays the way Shane's capable of playing. But we've seen it over and over again in Mosconi Cup that it's just, not his best environment to play for one reason or another. And I think each year we're hoping, hey, this is the year. Shane's going to break out of it. Shane's going to lead the team. So hopefully he does, but he wouldn't be my first choice.
I called Shane the other day, and this is like at 5:00 in the afternoon. And I said, hey, what are you doing? I'm practicing, of course. That was his response. He wants to win. He's had a great year. He's a world champion. His head's in a good spot now, I feel like.
First of all, everybody here, all 78 people watching across all the platforms, know damn well Shane did not answer your phone call. Okay, so let's get that straight.
Look, man, let me see. Do I gotta pull up?
Look at this guy name dropping. I called Shane.
Look,
I called Josh Filler the other day, and we were gonna have lunch.
Well,
This
I
guy.
can't show you a screenshot because then I'll put someone's number out there, so I can't do that. But yeah, I'm telling you, it was that because
Melina
usually
might just put Shane's
he'll
phone number out on the
he'll go
internet.
he'll go and stream his practice. That's why I was surprised when I called him. He says, "I'm practicing the course." He's hungry, man. He's motivated. I am not BSing you. I promise you.
All right. Well, at any rate,
But
it's going
look,
to be an amazing event.
we're gonna be out there. We're looking for sponsors as well. We got a few guys that we've reached out to privately that are going to be jumping on board with, and we're super excited. And we're going to be announcing those in the next couple of days as well. We're just looking to tie up some loose ends before we go and formally get a few other guys on board that are going to be coming along with us. Nick says Molina Mike doesn't pick up his phone. That's true, buddy. But when Shane says, "Hey, give me a shout," I'm giving him a shout, man. So, no disrespect, Nick. I love you, buddy. But it's going to be a great event. It's what's that?
I was just gonna say that guy that I said the hammer time, I guess that was Robert Reese. He chimed in, supporting us on Patreon, and Gary Williams is also now supporting us on Patreon. Thanks so much for that. If you guys want to support, it's gonna help us get to Moscone and these other events. Patreon.com//Doggin It. We really appreciate you guys. Yeah, sorry to cut you off, Mike. I just want to make sure to thank Gary Williams.
No, without a doubt, we really appreciate everyone that joined in on that. That helps us out quite a bit. Everything that we've been doing up until this point, we're just doing it ourselves. So getting the support from guys who appreciate it means a lot to us, and it goes a long way because we're not using it just to, put our feet up. We're going to be going to a lot of places, covering a lot of events, trying to bring a different dynamic to tournaments and the storylines that go along with it. It's a lot of fun, but we want to just amp it up. Is what we're looking to do, and it's going to be starting with the Moscone Cup in a couple of weeks. Derby City after that. I'm sure a few other things. I think I might be going up to.
Did you get your passport yet?
Yeah, buddy, it's in. Wow, are we going? Are we going somewhere international?
Well, it depends on how many patrons we get.
Yeah, well, not just that, but
pretty expensive to go to Europe.
Let us through the door first through matchroom events, but no, listen, it's a great weekend pool. We're gonna have a world champion being crowned. We're gonna be probably doing more stuff each day. I don't know if Joey will be on because his schedule can be a little hectic, but as the events out there in Puerto Rico continue to develop, we're going to continue to have an opinion on them and cover them and just talk about them and just enjoy it, man. We love pool. So,
yeah, absolutely, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. I think let's try to line up Mark White. Let's see if he's available tomorrow night, Melina, after he's done with his duties out there. I want to get kind of the lay of the land out there. I want to hear all about the setup and everything. From all accounts, the pictures and everything, it's beautiful down there in Puerto Rico with what they've done. It's like Darren Appleton said, it's the best kind of setup he's ever seen for pool. I want to talk with a guy who's there calling matches, in the trenches, Mark White, our buddy. Get him on the show. Let's see if we can make that happen for tomorrow. But otherwise, guys, we got to run. Melina's got to make some phone calls to some other pros. I'm sure he's got to call Shane, like he said, or he's got to call Sky, or he's got to call Filler. So we got to get off.
Who gets all these players on, by the way? Can you at least get Mark White on the show?
You do get him on. You just don't invite me.
Well,
I'm sitting there. I'm in a soccer game on Saturday, and I see this notification come up. Fedor Gorsh joins Doggin It. I'm like, son of a.
We'll see you guys.
My show too. What the hell?
Have a good night.